Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. When I last left you guys, we had just finished up a rather difficult mission with a rather difficult following cutscene, and we're going to go ahead and deal with the aftermath of that in Chapter 8 today, which is Despair and Hope. I'm going to have to apologize to you guys in advance. I'm still not feeling all particularly great at the moment, so if my voice is not quite as where it should be, that is why. I will do my best to muscle through it, to continue to present this to you guys in a timely fashion. Otherwise, well, let's just say I don't want to take any time off from uploading to make sure that I'm 100%, I guess. I'm adequate at the moment, so I don't feel too bad, so we'll see how this goes. Here we have Ike and Mist, who have buried their father and left his axe there, it seems, as a headstone or some such. What I don't get is what defines a wound that is severe enough to mortally to mortally wound somebody in that like staves can't heal them? Like, how much of a wound can't staves heal? I don't quite get that. Like, could he have been saved if Riss had been there, which he was? I mean, at one point he was. He ran out there after the fact, but I don't know. They never really bothered to explain just how effective staves are at healing wounds, or to what extent they're able to heal wounds. At least in the realistic context here. Obviously, on the battlefield, you can heal from 1 to completely full, but given that your combat effectiveness isn't lessened any from being at 1 HP either, I think this is the only time we see this particular sprite of Mist here, where she's particularly distraught here. And here Ike is telling her that he's going to take up command of the company in their father's stead, but Mist really doesn't want to because she doesn't want him to die too. Which is a pretty understandable gesture, I imagine. And obviously, Titania is pretty distraught about this whole situation too. Soren is very cold and calculating and obviously very straightforward, but when it comes to Ike, he is very sympathetic. For nobody else does he do this, just Ike. I have no idea why that is, but and here is Boyd explaining what you guys probably have surmised from what happened with the events of the last chapter. Shinon and Gatry have left. Yes, that is true. They are gone. They left because of Ike, presumably. And here we go, it's just Soren being cold and calculating again. That's what I appreciate about his character, though. And here we get the swelling music here to go with the whole Ike's gonna start leading the company. It's gonna be awesome and it's gonna be great. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going. Of course, Oscar and Boyd are on board here. Uh, You're so weird. Alright, so now, well, in a regrettable fashion, Ike is now taking command of the company. Titania is going to be his second in command from here forward. Tell me everything. Well, that was, be careful what you wish for there, pal. Expenditures, intelligence, know everyone's abilities and relationships, Oh yeah, finally. So, we somehow stumbled upon a merchant caravan that has stumbled into this castle and taken refuge in here. That is also from Crimea, and they're going to be traveling with us now. So we finally are going to have a place to store all of our junk instead of carrying everything around with us on the map. So, thank God. They've offered us a good rate on items and weapons, too. And, oh yeah, you can also forge new weapons in this game. We'll talk about that when we get there. That's one more word. Ike just goes, uh-huh. I know I said tell me everything, but that's too much. Just stop. Get some rest. That's an. Or I hear Ike dispensing orders already. Ike is great. Let's be honest. All right, so here we finally have the base preparations menu, as is the case with many Fire Emblem games, most of them really. So outfit is where we go to arrange all of our equipment. We have a lot of stuff to go through. So I know I said before, while we were still on the map, about making sure we took all of Shinon and Gatry's stuff. That's actually not necessary, I found out. As you can see, both of Shinon's bows are in here. We have that almost broken iron lance that Gatry is holding, so it did just get deposited into the convoy. I was mistaken on that account. My apologies. For some reason, I seem to recall that you didn't get to keep anything that they were holding when they left. But apparently that was not the case. So we're going to refit everybody in a second here, momentarily, while I do some information conversations here. So here are two of the caravan wow, what did I just say? Merchants. The very gruff and bearded gentleman is Muston, and this is Amy. And Muston runs the armory, and Amy runs the shop. It's for the greater good. A vendor of various goods. She sells, like, staves and healing stuff, and occasionally, like, some rare goods. I think. Maybe I'm thinking Radiant Dawn. And these two are George and Daniel. George is the blonde one, and Daniel is the brown-haired guy. George is the guy you go to sell stuff to, and Daniel is actually a blacksmith, if you can believe it. Yeah, just a storage warehouse of sorts. Yes, thank you. That is the best part of this entire deal. Alright, whoever Unknown is, we're going to talk to Unknown real quick. Oh, it's Titania. She's not taking this very well. I can't really blame her, to be honest, but... Next, we'll talk to Rolf real quick. What has Rolf got to say? No, she's not fine. Maybe she will be fine eventually, but she's not right now. Alright, bye, Rolf. Next up, who is Boyd? What has Boyd got to say? Huh. Try me, he says. And then finally we have Risk we can talk to. What does he have to say? Not really sure how Risk got involved in a mercenary company. I don't think they ever bothered to explain that. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about the support system now in this game. So, the way that you've seen the support system functioning in the Game Boy Advance titles that we've played through so far, it's a little bit different. So in those games, in order to build support, you need to take or spend turns with the two units you want to support next to one another on the map, and the level of support would build as the more turns they spent together. And you could ultimately reach a level of A after a certain point, starting with C and then B and then A. In this game, the same level structure is the same, so it goes from C and then B and then A. However, instead of number of turns spent next to one another on the map, it's just number of turns, or number of chapters rather, deployed together, regardless of where you are next to each other on the map at all. So you can see here, we could build a C support between Ike and Oscar, even though they haven't spent a lot of time together necessarily next to one another on the map. Because they've deployed together in a number of maps, they can start the support off already. So as long as you have two units that you want to support and they're on the map at the same time, they will eventually support one another, which I think is much preferable. It makes things much easier. I think keeping units together, like right next to one another on a map, when you're in a big chaotic mess and trying to, take down units and form strategies and formations, it's not very conducive for that in building support relationships, especially considering how important support relationships are on the harder difficulties, because without them, you're in a bad way. And it just so happens that Ike and Oscar have a very good support relationship. They both have Earth affinity, which grants them absurd levels of avoidance, which actually would not be a bad idea for the two of them. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do is actually immediately begin this support conversation. And just like with the Game Boy Advance titles, there are conversations to be had with regards to support building. Oh yeah, apparently Oscar is a cook, if you weren't aware. They expand upon this in the next game, but it's, I guess, hinted at briefly here in this one. Soren hates everything. I feel like you need everything. I mean, let's be honest. Interesting. At any rate, so Ike and Oscar now have C rank support. So when they're within 3 spaces of one another on the map, they will gain Avoid. I'm not sure how much Avoid they gain. I wonder if it can be determined from here. No, it does not tell you in here. Alright, that's fine. So that's the support conversation situation. Next, we can do Manage. And from in this little area here, we have Award XP and we have Skills. So everybody has, well, I guess not everybody, but there's a number of skills everybody can equip based on that little capacity gauge we talked about some time ago. Some people come with one innately, like Titania has Counter, Soren has Adept, Riss has Serenity, Boyd has Tempest, Mia has Vantage. And you'll see that the skills take up a number of points in their capacity gauge. And if we wanted to, we can actually assign them additional skills from in here. If we have Miracle to give, if we wanted to. Miracle isn't really a super great skill, and I don't really want to give it to anybody just at the moment, so we're going to hold off on that. We can also remove people's skills from in here if we wanted to, but there's not really any reason to do that at this point, so we're just going to hold off on that for now. The other thing is awarding XP. So this game is very cool in that we have the ability to award experience outside of battle. It's called bonus experience, and you can earn bonus experience by completing certain side objectives during chapters. And we have a decent amount of bonus experience. We have 1,410. And the amount of bonus experience it takes to level someone up will go up not drastically, but gradually as they gain higher and higher levels. So Leveling up from someone from 1 to 2 doesn't require hardly much at all. Going from 2 to 3 is more, and so on and so forth. So if someone's not getting enough experience on the battlefield, we can take the time to gain them some extra levels in between chapters, which is very useful for characters that don't level up particularly quickly or aren't quite ready to handle themselves in battle just yet. So it is a very useful tool for that, and I'm very happy to have it. I don't think we're in dire need of it at the moment, so we're just going to hold off for the time being. And then, of course, we have access to the convoy, which is where all of our stuff is. And we can go to the shop individually from every person in our group. So let's go ahead and take a look at the armory real quick, see what they have for sale. Looks like a basic iron weapons. We got a steel axe. We can get javelins and hand axes. Every basic element of magic tome. You'll notice that there is fire, wind, and thunder instead of fire, light, and dark. Or anima, light, and dark, I should say. Fire, wind, and thunder, I believe I've talked about already, is the new weapon triangle for magic. If I'm not mistaken, fire beats wind, wind beats thunder, and thunder beats fire. It's the same concept, really, that you're already used to. Let's take a look at the shop real quick. We have heal staves, vulneraries, and pure waters for shop for sale here. Not much else than that. And then, of course, we can take a look at the forge. So, what do we do in the forge? Well, the forge is really cool in that it allows you to build a custom weapon of your design, well, to a certain extent. So, say you want to build a custom axe. Let's go with axe. You can base it off of any one of the existing types of axes that you can buy. So, an iron axe, a steel axe, or a hand axe. And let's just say, let's go for the sake of iron for this particular situation here. So, we'll make it based off an iron axe. Sure, sounds good. And then once you've decided your base weapon, you get to modify its stats. So this is a typical stats for an iron axe. We have 8 attack, 75 hit, 10 weight, and no crit. We can adjust that up or down about, or exactly rather, 5 spaces in either direction. So might is just 1 might per tick here, per level. Hit is 5% hit per level up or down. And yes, it does cost money to reduce the stats of the weapon. I don't know why you'd want to, but you have the ability to if you desire to. Crit goes up in 3s for some weird reason. And this can only go up 3 stages at a time, it looks like. And you can't go below 0, obviously. Apparently in the Japanese version, it's possible to go below 0. And if you do that, you wrap around to like 255 or something. And give guaranteed crit to weapons, which is broken. Which is pretty funny. And then the weight, same deal. Just 1 point of weight per level here. Again, I don't know why you'd want to increase the weight of something, but you have the ability to if you wanted to. And then once you've decided on the stats that you want, you just go ahead and hit end. You'll see the expenses is how much the weapon's going to cost to build as you change the stats of it. And once you decide on the amount of all the stats and everything, it'll give you the final price. You can say yes or no. You actually do have the option to rename the weapon, and I believe choose a color for it. But we're not going to do that just yet, because I don't think we have any desire for a forged axe at the time being. So I think what we're going to do instead is go for a forged lance. Let me check my equipment for my team real quick, actually. I know a lot of this video is going to be convoying and organizing everything. My apologies for that if that bores you guys. We're just getting some minor stuff out of the way, I suppose. Certainly, Titania's not going to need anything forged. She's already got absurdly good equipment, so we're not too worried about that. I am going to give her the hammer, I think. Yeah, why not? Soren just has, his wind tone's almost broken, but he also has a fire tome that he picked up, which weighs a little bit more than a wind tome, but he can handle it. And Oscar is who I'm concerned about the most right now, because his stats are still a little lackluster for where I'd like him to be right now. He has halfway decent strength, but he can't use a steel lance without slowing himself down yet, so that is an issue. I like how the short spear only weighs 1 more point than the javelin. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, it might end up being Oscar that gets a forged weapon if I'm being completely honest, rather. And Riss has a heal and a mend staff now, I believe, from Elincia. Yes, he does. And a ward staff, too. That's nice. That'll come in handy, I think. Then Mia here. Mia, you know what? Mia might need a forged sword now that I'm thinking about it. Mia has some issues with landing killing blows early on because, again, her strength is not too great. She's very fast, but as with most Myrmidons, her strength is a little bit lacking in certain areas, so we're going to have to take care of that. I forgot to give everybody vulneraries. Let's make sure we take care of that because they're going to be necessary. You can actually forge tomes too, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure how that works. Do you just write your own book? Like, here, this book is slightly more powerful than a regular book, but it's still a book. Like, how do you forge a book? I don't know. Apparently, Daniel is, in addition to being a blacksmith and a Fletcher, he is also a scribe. Or a whatever. Who knows? At any rate, I might just forge a sword for Mia just to get her something that she can use. I'm actually going to buy another wind tome for sword. No, we'll hold off on that because I think we get one to drop in the next level, so we'll wait. But that being said, we are going to go ahead and forge a sword for Mia, so you get to see how that works. Oops, that's the shop. We want forge. I would like a special weapon. We're going to go ahead and get a sword. We'll base it on steel. It's a little more powerful, I guess. It's going to be more expensive, too, but it'll be nice in the long run. So we'll make it based off the steel sword. We'll pump as much power into it as we can. We're going to drop the weight as low as we can. That'll make it so she can wield it. Actually, you know what? This is getting rather expensive. Wow, I didn't realize how expensive this was going to be. Maybe we're better off starting at iron then. See how that goes. We're losing 3 might in the long run, but this makes it so I don't have to spend anything on the weight here. Man, that's really pricey. I don't want to spend all my money right now because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get more, but I guess we just got to be careful here. Yeah, you know what? We'll do it just for kicks and grins here. As for what I'm going to call this, yeah, we'll call it something else. We'll call it what Mia's sword is called in Heroes, I suppose, which is the Resolute Blade. Assuming I have room for that, which I don't think I do, but you never know. Oh, darn it. You know, the controls for naming things in this is a lot less intuitive than you might think. Yeah, there's no way I have room for the word Resolute Blade in there, especially when I spell it wrong, right? Let's call it, I got an idea. Why don't we call it Resolution? That makes sense, right? And then we can pick the color of it. It's for Mia, so... Oh, that looks cool. Let's go with the blue one. Or I could go with purple because it's for Mia. Yeah, we'll go with blue. Blue looks good. And we'll give that to Mia. So she's got a slightly better iron sword now that she can use. That's good. And we're going to go ahead, now that it's been almost the entire video of just base preparations, we're going to dive right into it here. Apparently it is raining. I like how you can see the rain coming in the windows in the background there. That's really cool. They put a lot of effort into that. We have not heard anything yet from the Lagoo's Palace. Look out the window. It's raining. Oh, good. There's peeps outside. A lot of them, by the looks of it. It's not what I think it is it? Yep, that is Dayan soldiers. Wow. Grail mercenaries, form up and defend yourselves. Oh, here's Mist. Everything will be fine, but I need you to do this. Uh-oh, what was this? Her medallion is glowing. Well, yes it is. I wonder what that could mean. Alright, so as you guys might have imagined from looking at this so far, this is another defense map. And this map is a big pain in my butt, because as much as I love defense maps, you really don't have a lot of resources in this one. You don't have access to Shinon and Gatry. Your units, generally speaking, are a little bit under-leveled, especially Mia. She just joined your team, and she's not quite at defense-leveled combat readiness, I should say, so... At any rate, we're going to park Titania right here in the middle. Generally what I'll do is send Boyd to guard the front of the map here. In fact, why don't we take a look at the map, so speaking of which. So out the south gate here, we have a bunch of Cavaliers of various different weapon types. Now, the boss is down here in the bottom corner, by the way. He generally stays back and doesn't advance at all. He is an Armor Knight. He doesn't drop anything. He's just kind of hanging out. It's not required that you kill him, but it is a nice experience if you do. And off to the left here, we have this little side entrance that wraps around all the way down here. We've got Myrmidons and soldiers, archers, fighters, like a little bit of everything, really. And then over here on the right is lots of Armor Knights, a couple mages, a couple archers. On this eastern gate here, you notice every path only has one spot in the way of it, so we can choke points, or make choke points pretty easily, which is good. We definitely want to. If we lose the green spot where Ike is standing, then we lose, and we need to defend for 8 turns. And there actually is a recruitable unit on this map, this one right here, but we'll talk more about her in a little bit when she gets closer. So, for the time being, we're going to go ahead and deploy. I generally like to keep Mia on the left here and Oscar on the right. Same with Soren, and Riss is going to have to do a lot of running around and healing people, because that's what he does. So we're going to jump right in here and get ready to go. Alright, so these particular dudes here are not especially threatening, thankfully. Boy can usually handle them okay. The trick to handling them in a single round, though, is definitely the poleaxe. He's going to lose 6 speed from using that thing, so he'll get doubled by just about everybody. But he ought to be able to one-shot a lot of these Cavaliers as long as they come within range of him. Because he'll have 42 attack. Yeah, they won't be able to take more than 1 hit from that. So if I just park Boyd right here and equip the poleaxe... In fact, why don't we put him... Put him right here, actually. Those Cavaliers that are melee, which is 4 out of the 6 of them, should get one shot by Boyd as long as he hits them. The 2 with Javelins, a different story. Thankfully, I think the Javelin weighs them down too much for them to double him too, so he should be fine there. We just gotta hope that he can take a couple of hits, pretty much, is the whole goal here. Now, it would make a lot more sense, actually, to put Boyd over here to deal with the Armor Knights, because they're a lot more beefy. But we also have Soren for that, so we're just going to park Oscar right here with his Steel Lance and put Soren just behind him. So as the Armor Knights come at us, we can just cook them alive inside their armor, which sounds horrifying, but it's true. And we'll put Mia right here with her Armor Slayer, which she won't double that guy with it because she loses a ton of speed from that thing. 10, so she can't double. But she'll put a nice big dent in that guy. And we'll have Titania to support her just in case with a hammer. And Riss will be on station to heal everybody's wounds. As for Ike, I like to set him over here as well, just in case. I know, yes, we're leaving the green square unguarded, technically speaking, but as long as all 3 ways in are protected, nothing can get through us, so it's fine. They're leading off with the Javelin guys, of course. Boyd able to dodge even at -5 attack speed, which is good. The nice thing about all these Cavaliers is they all have Canto, so they will finish their move after they attack and get out of the way. Canto, by the way, is what that particular ability is referred to as in Radiant Dawn, and it just so happens to, it's what I refer to it as in every other game where horses can do that, which is most of them. Ow. Okay, that was a basic Iron Axe. That really... Wait, I didn't one-shot him? Oh, wait, his weapon might only doubled in this instead of tripled. It is. So I'm not doing 40. I have 32 attack, not 42 attack. That's going to be an issue. I think I'm just shy of one-rounding all these guys. And I might get doubled by the sword guy here. Yeah, I certainly do. Well, isn't that just lovely? Great. Well, you're going to start dodging here, pal, because you're going to die otherwise. And he failed to dodge anything. Well, that starts off great. Okay, well, thankfully the mission just started, so I can reset without too much issue. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Sorry for taking up so much of your time with just base preparations. I'll promise I'll get this squared away before the next episode. And that being said, wait and go ahead and join me until the next one. We'll start this map over again. Thankfully, it just started, so we didn't lose a lot of progress. So sorry for wasting your time with all that stuff, but I'm hoping you understand that we got to do base preparation stuff out of the way, and now you understand how it all works. So anyway, thanks for joining me up to this point. I do appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next episode with a restart of Chapter 8. So until then, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.